Welcome back to another Tales from Japan, everybody. Today, we are talking about one of my absolute favorite topics in the whole world, Pokemon. Specifically, the Pokemon centers that Katrina and I got to visit. And we visited a pretty decent amount, so I don't want to dilly-dally very much at the beginning of this video. If you like Pokemon, if you've always wanted to visit the Pokemon centers, great, stick around because I'm going to talk about a lot of them. So let's go ahead and jump right into things. So Katrina and I's first Pokemon Center ended up being Pokemon Mega Tokyo. And what a perfect first center to experience. I have, for my entire life, longed to visit Pokemon centers in Japan. And to be in one for the first time ever was, I'm just going to say the corny thing, magical. But not only that, it was inside a big mall. And you know how much I love malls. So the Pokemon Center was thankfully able to utilize a lot more space. There was entire common sections, parts of the mall near the store, I'm like blanking on the proper word for this, where different Pokemon statues were set up all around. There was a small Pokemon cafe, not the one everybody knows about, but like a mini one, where I got to have this Poltergeist tea drink that was really, really good. I was so excited and nervous. I kept mishearing the woman who told me to pour the tea. It was great. The snacks were really good. And there was a Garbodor trash can. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I have a proper picture of that, but there was for sure a Garbodor trash can. Look. Garbodor trash can. I want one of these in my house. This Pokemon Center is big. It was a great first one for us to experience, and it kind of set a precedent going forward for these stores. The next Pokemon Center we went to on the same day, and that was Pokemon Center Tokyo DX. Yeah, like I said earlier, I was super excited for these, so I made sure to squeeze two into a single day. This Pokemon Center was great. I did love on this wall here, seeing the progression of old Pokemon games and whatever, all the way up through some of the newer ones. That was a neat touch. But beyond that, it just seemed like a pretty normal Pokemon Center. Nothing above and beyond here, but I enjoyed it a lot. And when Katrina and I go back to Tokyo, we are definitely visiting it again. And our next Pokemon Center was Pokemon Center Shibuya. And look at this Mewtwo. Holy crap. I've seen this like in pictures and whatnot on Instagram before, but getting to see that in person was so surreal. And this was such a cool Pokemon Center. It felt more futuristic than any of the others, more techy. And that fits very well because it also had in it the Pokemon Design Lab, where it lets you make your own shirt, which is very cool, and I was very excited to do it. But due to forces outside of my control, I wasn't able to that day. But when Katrina and I return, it is top priority that I make my own one-of-a-kind Pokemon shirt. I'm going to put an underrepresented Pokemon on it, and it's going to be great. Our next stop was Pokemon Center Skytree Town. And let me tell you, Rayquaza is one of my favorite legendary Pokemon, so seeing it greet me out front was amazing. Plus, there was a shiny Mega Rayquaza also bursting through the ceiling, so it just kept getting better and better. This Pokemon Center was next to the famous Tokyo Skytree. There are a lot of stores, and even, I would say, like a mall, a mini mall surrounding it. There was this awesome Tokyo Ghibli store, among some other cool things. But the Pokemon Center was obviously my favorite part. I love all the little statuettes that are all around these stores, by the way. Some have more than others, for sure. But it's always a pleasure to see some of my favorite Pokemon represented. I don't think it needed to be any bigger. I think it was the perfect size, because there are some some Pokemon centers that I would say are a little small, but this was definitely not one. This is an absolute must-do if you are in Japan. So after spending all that time in Tokyo, it was time Katrina and I made our way to Kyoto. And of course, that just means more Pokemon centers. And the first one we stumbled on kind of on accident, it was Pokemon Center Kyoto, obviously. And Ho-Oh is another one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. So to see a Pokemon Center represented by him, chef's kiss, loved it. Yeah, Lugia was there too, but I just cared about Ho-Oh. And this Pokemon Center was adorable. There was this cute little Pikachu all dressed up. Tons of different statuettes. They had the Johto starter statuettes. Very unique plushes of Pikachu. This store was great. It was bright. It was inviting. Honestly, I feel like we didn't even spend that much time in here, but it somehow ended up being one of my favorite Pokemon centers. And just like all the others, I am extremely excited to return. While in Kyoto, Katrina and I knew we wanted to visit Universal Studios Japan, which is in Osaka. I worded that very weird just then. And of course, since we're gonna be in Osaka, we were gonna visit their Pokemon centers. Now, I didn't get many pictures, unfortunately, of Pokemon Center Osaka. These are actually the only two I have, surprisingly. But I'll throw some in that I find on Google Images too. I honestly don't remember this store too much, but that's okay because there is another Pokemon Center in Osaka that was a bit more memorable. And that is, of course, Pokemon Center Osaka DX. What the DX stands for, I have no idea. I've yet to find out. But this is that famous Pokemon Center that has the Pokemon Cafe. The place that every Japan-obsessed influencer talks about. The place where it's impossible to get a reservation. The true-to-form Pokemon Cafe. And I am sad to admit that no, I also was not able to get a reservation there. Honestly, I didn't try very hard because I've heard mixed reviews on the food quality itself. A lot of people say the presentation is adorable, it's great, but the taste is kind of subpar. And I knew it would have just been expensive, so I chose not, well, I mean, I think I tried to get a reservation, but they definitely don't take walk-ins, so I was pretty much done at that point. Regardless, this Pokemon Center was great. Again, it was in a mall, so it was surrounded by a lot of other really cool stores. The statues out front were imposing. I almost say Galarian birds. The Cantonian birds are very intimidating beasts, and they make for really cool statues. This Pokemon Center was one of the best. Now, sadly, that was Katrina and I's final Pokemon Center of the trip. But there is one last thing I wanted to mention. On our flight out, when we arrived at the Narita airport, there was an official Pokemon store in the airport. And Pokemon Store is different than Pokemon Center. For some reason, they sell a lot of the same things. I don't know exactly what the difference is. Pokemon stores definitely seem a lot smaller. But this airport was cute. It still had legendary Pokemon statues hanging from the ceiling. There was an adorable Pilot Pikachu statuette that was really cool. So this isn't an official Pokemon Center, but I just wanted to shout it out. If you're flying into or out of Japan in the Narita airport, make sure you stop by this Pokemon store. It was adorable. Now, even though that was Katrina and I's last Pokemon store, center, whatever that we went to, it doesn't mean it's the last one we'll ever go to. I've dropped this a couple of times on the channel, maybe just on the podcast, Certified Pokemoments. But Katrina and I are planning to go back to Japan sometime this year. And when we do, there's gonna for sure be a few more Pokemon centers we hit. We're gonna hit a lot of the same, but we're definitely planning on hitting at least 4 new stores. And those stores are Pokémon Center Yokohama, Pokémon Center Tokyo Bay, Pokémon Center Hiroshima, and Pokémon Center Nagoya. We are so excited to hit these 4. I can't freaking wait, and I can't wait to talk about them after we get back. But it's going to be quite a few months until that video. So you're going to have to subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on a single dang thing. Go follow Jokum and I's podcast. It is also called Certified Pokemoments, and it's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or, hey, right here on YouTube. And that's just one more reason you should subscribe. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so very much for watching this video. Gosh, I keep forgetting how I end videos nowadays. Goodbye, everybody.